38-34. It has been referred to as the World Series of high school basketball. Indiana has swept this series some 14 times. Tonight they'd like to make it 15 as they knocked off Kentucky last Saturday night at Freedom Hall in Louisville. Along with me for tonight's ball game is Jim Hamill, the head coach of Lafayette Jeff High School, the all-star coach last year. Jim, you were at Freedom Hall last Saturday night. Your thoughts on that game?
Well, it's a game that Indiana had in control. They led the entire first half, really kind of had them put away at halftime. And Kentucky came out in the second half, played a scrambling half-court trap, and really gave the Indiana a lot of fits down the stretch. The Indiana kids hung on one, and that's what's important.
You know, Jim, much like Miss Basketball for Kentucky, Mr. Basketball, Elton Scott, did not play well last week. Does that concern you if you're a coach for Indiana tonight?
Right. Elton Scott, really struggled last week. And obviously that's a concern for Kentucky, but it's probably a bigger concern for Indiana because he has to play better than he did a week ago. And I'm sure that he's, the coaches have been on him this week, and maybe he'll get relaxed this week. I'm sure they're hoping that and have a lot better ball game for him.
Bryce Drew is Indiana's Mr. Basketball. Here's a young man who has terrific talent. He put numbers on the board of 13 points and 5 rebounds and 4 assists. You're suggesting that's a typical pretty good ball game for this young man.
Well, I think it's just typical of what Bryce is all about. He's a kid that I just really admire. I've admired for 4 years. We've been fortunate enough to play against him, or unfortunate enough to play against him for 4 years, and that's the kind of a line he's always going to put up. And, he just makes everybody else on the floor better. I think that was showing that Indiana had 5 kids in double figures last week, 2 with 8 and 1 with 7. So when you get that kind of balance on an all-star team, you have a chance to have a lot of success.
Larry Miller is the head coach of the Kentucky Stars. Steve Woody is the head coach of the Indiana All-Stars. A few moments ago, I had a chance to gather these guys together, and I asked him point blank, what would it take for your club to win tonight's All-Star game?
We've got to shoot the ball better. Indiana, to their credit, played a good man-to-man defense on us in the first half last week. Held us to 38% while they shot about 52%, and that was the difference in the ball game early.
We've got to continue to do the little things that make the big things happen. Making good contact when we block out, playing the good defense, and stopping their ball penetration, stopping their running game. We're not gifted athletically maybe as much as they are, but we have a group that plays very well together, and when they pay attention to details and do those little things as a team, then, well, we're a very difficult team to beat, I think.
Well, not that they needed it, but Indiana's girls have already put more pressure on the Indiana boys because the girls knocked off the Kentucky squad 100-92 about a half an hour ago. So they'll look for the sweep. We'll be back to meet the starting lineups, in fact, the entire All-Star squad for both states in just a moment.
Because folks like you buy Hoosier Lottery tickets, we're able to help fund education in schools across the state.
Class?
For 100 years, folks have enjoyed the Indiana State Fairgrounds. And because you bought Hoosier Lottery tickets, they got the money they needed to make sure the fair will be enjoyed by generations to come.
Thanks.
The Indianapolis Marriott, 21st and Shadeland. Stay where the All-Stars stay. Make your next weekend a championship event. Ask about our special 2 for breakfast getaway weekend for only $74 per night. Enjoy a deluxe guest room and a hearty breakfast for 2 in Marriott's legendary Durban restaurant. For weekend reservations, call 317-352-1231. The Indianapolis Marriott, 21st and Shadeland. For weekend reservations, call 317-352-1231.
National Car Sales is making a big splash in your summertime fun with the grand opening of the all-new National Boat Mart. If you're thinking about going fishing, jet skiing, or just cruising around, National Boat Mart has all the top names and runabouts, pontoons, fishing boats, personal watercraft, and ATVs. Make a big splash at National Boat Mart out for the new big old green sign at 7111 West Washington Street.
Good luck, Indiana All-Stars from National Boat Mart.
Hi, I'm Bob Knight for Federated Insurance. You know, every basketball player is different, and I try to look for the winning difference in players, and that's what you have to do with your insurance company. Look for the winning difference. With insurance, a key difference is value. That means getting the most for your money. Federated has a lot of unique qualities, such as the right report, which will help you get the absolute best protection for your business and its unique needs.
It's the Stars of Indiana and the Stars of Kentucky. Time to meet them. Here's our PA announcer, Jim Pulaski.
And now, basketball fans, it's time to meet the players in tonight's game. They will be introduced in reverse numerical order, except for Mr. Basketball, who wears number 1. The numbers are assigned randomly and are for identification only. First, our visitors, the Kentucky Boys All-Stars. Wearing number 14 from Louisville Moors, 6 feet 8 inches, he will attend Jones Community College in Florida, Lewis Richardson. Number 12 from Ashland Blazers, 6 feet 5 inches, he will attend Eastern Kentucky University, Marty Thomas. Number 11 from Louisville Eastern, 6 feet 1, he will attend Butler University, Jeff Rogers. Number 10 from Jessamine County, 6 feet 3, he will attend Transylvania University in Kentucky, Vincent Bingham. Number 9 from Corbin, 6 feet 2 inches, he will attend Louisiana State University, Tony Petrovsky. Number 8 from Louisville Ballard, 6 feet 4 inches, he will attend the University of Wisconsin, Moselle Peterson. Number 7 from Louisville St. Xavier, 6 feet 9 inches, he will attend the University of Kentucky, Scott Paget. Number 6 from Mason County, 6 feet 1, he will attend Belleville, Illinois Junior College, Tim Myrick. Number 5 from Lexington Dunbar, 6 feet 5 inches, he will attend the University of Kentucky, Cameron Mills. Number 4 from Louisville Fairdale, 6 feet 5 inches, he will attend Western Kentucky University, Eric Martin. Number 3 from Elkhorn City, 6 feet 4 inches, he will attend Georgetown Kentucky College, Todd Conley. Number 2 from Hopkinsville University Heights, 6 feet 4 inches, he will attend Clemson, Greg Buckner. And number 1 from Marion County, 6 feet 7, he will attend the University of Louisville, Kentucky's Mr. Basketball, Elton Scott. The manager for the Kentucky All-Stars, Bart Miller of Meade County High School. The trainer, Tom Steltenkamp of Ellis Sports Medicine. The team doctor, Dr. Walter Badenhausen. The assistant coaches, Mike Reitz of Harrison County High School and Jerry Garris of Meade County. The head coach, now in 17 years as a head coach, his teams have won 2 regional championships, 4 district championships, and 1 Kentucky State Championship, that coming in 1981. He has been the head coach at Meade County High School since 1982. Last year, he was an assistant coach of the Kentucky Boys All-Stars. The Kentucky Boys All-Stars head coach, Larry Miller. The All-Star Game Coordinator for Kentucky, Jim Sandage. The Game Committee Chairman for the Kentucky Lions, Mike Aldridge. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1994 Kentucky Boys All-Stars. Now meet the 1994 Indiana Boys All-Stars. Wearing number 13 from Indianapolis, Ben Davis, 5 feet 5 inches. He is undecided on his college choice, Don Mallory. Number 12 from Bloomfield, 6 feet 6 inches. He will attend Fairfield, Connecticut, Shane Miller. Number 11 from New Albany, 5 feet 7 inches. He will attend the University of Wyoming, Ladrell Whitehead. Number 10 from Richmond, 6 feet 6 inches. He will attend Austin Peay University, Jared Jake Powers. Number 9 from Anderson Highland, 6 feet 5 inches. He will attend Appalachian State, Tig Garner. And Tig Garner is the winner of the 1994 John Wooden MCL Cafeterias All-Star Citizenship Award. Wearing number 8 from Paoli, 6 feet 7 inches, he will attend the University of Missouri, Scott Holmes. Number 7 from Leo, 6 feet 6 inches, he will attend Butler University, John Newhauser. Number 6 from Jeffersonville, 6 feet 3 inches, he will attend Xavier University, Brian Hanley. Number 5 from Vincennes, Lincoln, 6 feet 10, he will attend the University of Wisconsin, Sean Doherty. Number 4 from state champion South Bend Clay High School, 6 feet 8 inches, he will attend Butler County Junior College in Kansas, Lee Nayland. Number 3 from Valparaiso, 6 feet. He will attend Indiana University, Tim Bishop. And number 1, also from Valparaiso, 6 feet 3 inches. He will attend Valparaiso University, Indiana's Mr. Basketball, Bryce Rose. The manager, Steve Kaufman of Purdue University. Trainer, Lee Garrett of Methodist Sports Medicine Center. The team doctors, Dr. Art Reddick and Dr. George DeSylvester of Methodist Sports Medicine Center. The sports information director, Chris Kaufman of Indianapolis Cathedral High School. The assistant coaches, Dave Clark of White River Valley and John Todd of East Chicago Central. The head coach has been the head coach of Ben Davis High School since 1989, where he has compiled an overall record of 108 wins and 23 losses. His teams have won 3 sectional and 3 regional championships and have gone to the Final Four twice. In 1993, the Indiana Basketball Coaches Association named him District 3 Coach of the Year. The Indiana Boys All-Stars head coach, Steve Whitty. The game director for Indiana, now in his 7th year in charge of the Indiana All-Star Classic. He is the promotion and special events coordinator for the Indianapolis Star. The Indiana All-Star Games Director, Pat Aikman. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1994 Indiana Boys All-Stars.
You bet the All-Stars will get it on and tip it off. Just a moment.
Man, what are these old timers doing on my court? Man, where you going? Come on, let's go.
Hey, Grandma could have made that shot with a blindfold on.
Looks like we're gonna need an ambulance.
Hey, maybe even 2.
Woodson, McGinnis, Seasting, Dampier, Boozy, Plump. 6 Indiana basketball legends brought to you with pride by Farm Bureau Insurance.
I don't even think Grandma could have hit that shot.
Hey, you guys looking for a game?
Yeah!
The color is rich and alive. The sound, so bold and clear. The picture, so lifelike, you'd think you were really there. Advanced video imaging from Zenith delivers richer color, higher contrast, sharper resolution. AVI from Zenith. Watch us.
Lane TV Sales, Indianapolis. Williams Brothers TV Sales, Plainfield.
We got boats, we got boats at Ted's Aquamarine.
Ted's Aquamarine is your Mercury outboard dealer in Central Indiana's boating center with great selection and top brands from fishing boats to luxury cruisers, including family pontoons and deck boats, and over 300 units in stock, like Moriah, Rinker, Astro, Sweetwater, Spectrum, Ranger, and more. Ted's has it all. More boats than allowed by law, and all are powered by Mercury Outboard. Save at Ted's Aquamarine, your #1 Mercury and Mercruiser dealer and boating center.
With the win last week, Indiana takes a 58-34 lead in the series. The Hoosiers have won 7 of the last 10, 11 of the last 14. Last year, Kentucky won in Louisville, 107-91. The Hoosiers turned it around at Market Square Arena, 107-89. We're underway. Kentucky's got the ball to begin the ball game, and it's out of bounds to Indiana. Indiana going with Bryce Drew, Brian Henley, John Newhouser, Ladrell Whitehead, and Shane Miller. Kentucky going with Elton Scott, Greg Buckner, Eric Martin, Scott Padgett, and Jeff Rogers.
This is the defense that brought them back last week. They're starting out in their little half-court trap. They played the second half.
Here's a young man from Bloomfield missing the opening shot. It's not free on the baseline and picked up by Kentucky, Shane Miller.
You know, we didn't score that time, but we attacked it much better than we did last week.
Lobbing it inside over the head of Drew, but picking it off down low was Whitehead. Here's Newhouser out high. Whitehead. Here is Bryce Drew. He's a great shooter. Now Shane Miller. Set up in a bit of a zone here, it looks to me like, Jim.
1-3-1.
Miller open left side. Got the 3.
They had the baseline last week. They just couldn't hit that shot last week against Kentucky.
Shane had 2 threes last week. Opens up the ball game with a 3 for the Indiana All-Stars. And of course, the Indiana girls have already won their ball game, so they are trying for a back-to-back a sweep, if you will. 4 games in the 2 weekends. That's only happened a couple of times as far as Indiana's concerned. Indiana setup would appear to be a man-to-man now, Jim.
Yeah, they had a lot of trouble guarding number 2, Buckner, last week. And, they tried Bryce on him. They just took him inside. They put Hanley on him, and he was able to take him outside. Hanley is starting on Buckner this week.
College rules, 20-minute halves, 35-second shot clock. 5 fouls and you're gone. Pretty much sets you up for the rules as far as your enjoyment of the game is concerned. Nice steal by Drew and a great knock-up court. Drew gets the bucket. Super play by John Newhouser.
John Newhouser is really a player. Butler's really getting a good player there. He had an excellent game last week also.
As I mentioned, this series started in 1940. They played single games through 54, moved the games to Lexington in 83, back to Louisville in 86, and that's where it is right now. A couple of minutes gone of this ball game, 5-0 Indiana. Buckner is the one that Jim was referring to they had trouble with last week. This guy's a 6'4", 180-pounder, and as they say, Jim, he plays bigger than his size.
He goes inside, they just throw it up in the air to him, and as you can see, he can shoot the outside shot too. So, he's a bunch to handle.
He was one of the main concerns of Indiana's defensive unit going into this game. Drew missing, and there's the follow-up by Miller. Shane Miller has 5 of the 7 points Indiana has. 17.5 minutes to go first half, just getting underway. 7-2 Indiana. They double down inside on Eric Martin. Now they go back out long range to Paget. Paget, great move to the hoop, couldn't get it. His opposite number 7, John Newhouser, comes off with the rebound. Here is Whitehead getting it across the timeline. Newhouser, right wing, looks to Miller, right side. Drew cuts the lane. They can't get it to him. Now they double in the corner. Now they got it to Drew, who bobbles the ball. And it's on the out-of-bounds line, so out-of-bounds to Kentucky. Nice pressure defense that time, Jim.
Yeah, they changed out. They're in a 1-2-2 zone, and they're trapping the corners a little bit different than they did last week. I think they feel like they have to come out and get after Indiana, because Indiana, I think, can really hurt them inside.
Steve Woody coaching the Indiana Stars. Larry Miller in charge of the Kentucky gang.
Here's a matchup we had problems with last week right here with his quickness.
Roger Cross, Mike Carter, and Doug Hampton are the officials for our boys game tonight. Nice spin move inside by Eric Martin, the youngster out of Fairdale High School.
That was created again by Buckner by beating his man and drawing help.
Martin headed for Western Kentucky, getting his first 2 points.
Trap again.
Here's Hanley. Nice save in the corner. Whitehead off the mark. The rebound pulled off inside by Scott Paget of Kentucky. Nice steal by Newhouser out of young small Leo. Here is Whitehead. Yes. Latrell Whitehead, one of the Bulldogs from New Albany. If he lived a couple of blocks further south, he'd be in Kentucky, I guess, Jim. That's right. 9-4 your score. Indiana with the lead. 4 minutes into the game. They almost let it get away. Here's the pull-up shot from outside. It's good by Jet Rogers out of Eastern High School. He was 1 for 5 last week from the floor, but a great free throw shooter at 9 for 10. So he finished up that game with 11 points.
Right, he's another player that's going to Butler. So they're getting a player off of each team. In fact, 2 good players off each team.
Whitehead dropped it inside to Newhouser, and a foul is called. It'll be on Kentucky. Yeah, Jeff Rogers coming in from behind, but the foul's going to be on Eric Martin. And that's the first of the game on Eric Martin. Replay, Jim. Drop it down inside, and there's the foul.
Right, John Newhouser, it was a load for him last week, and still is. You can see why his team went undefeated, because he's really a nice player.
Timeout taken. 15:33 to go. First half, 9-6 Indiana.
Everyone likes to win lots of money. Everyone likes to shine like the sun. Play triple card cash and you will be happy. Scratch the ticket.
It's instant game fun.
Here's the new deal to win $3,000. Match the card is triple card fast. Triple your price and you'll go bananas. Scratch the ticket, it's triple card cash.
Also try new Cash Madness and win $5,000 a month for a year.
World leaders met again today to discuss the possibility of further sanctions.
Each day, our world changes, and most of us can see it happen.
The Marion County Prosecutor's Office held a press conference.
Some of us have to hear it happen.
Verdict of guilty. Defense attorneys
3 times a day, volunteers from Central Indiana Radio Reading broadcast the Indianapolis Star and News to hundreds of people who can't read the paper themselves.
And Calvin says, Hobbes, maybe the world isn't ready for too much fantasy. And then Hobbes replies, does that include talking tigers?
Everything from national news
Hurricane Lisa is expected to hit the
to the cost of fresh strawberries at the local market.
Eastern Standard Time
The
Wednesday.
Star is proud to help fund radio reading with proceeds from the Indiana All-Star Games, which are used to buy receivers like this one.
And turning to the Star Sports section,
It may not look like much to you, but to Tom Hasbrook,
tire tests at Speedway.
it's beautiful.
Well, here's the guy who could play the game. Big Mac George McGinnis had 53 points.
He played his way out of a shoe, remember?
69. He did that. I remember they played the first game here in Indianapolis, and there was one of the fellows on the Kentucky team was not impressed by Big Mac, so he went down to Louisville and got 53 on him.
Guy made a mistake.
Yes, he did.
He made George mad during the week.
I think George holds the 2-game mark with 76 points in the 2 games in 1969. In fact, we'll talk about 2-game leaders, and we have a chance here because we had a new one tonight as far as the girls are concerned. This is Drew, penetration inside, second bucket for Bryce, 6'3", 175 out of Valparaiso High School. He's staying home, and we'll talk more about why he's staying home to play his college ball when we have a chance. Here's the blocking call on John Newhouser. That's the first of the game on John Newhouser. Here come again, Coach.
And John just didn't get his feet planted. He's leaning right there. You can see him leaning into the man with the basketball, and it was a foul.
They got it inside. They got the open man Patchett. He can't deliver. Long rebound, chase down to the corner, reset the 35-second shot clock. Jeff Rogers out of Eastern. Ball is knocked free in backcourt. Last touch by one of the Indiana players, so no violation. Shot clock continues to run. We're in the first half, 14:45 to go, and 11-6 Indiana lead. Indiana staying basically in that man-to-man, and it has really been chest to chest. Here's the long-range 3 that's short, chased down to the corner by Indiana's Brian Henley. Whitehead looked up court for a moment, couldn't get the ball to Newhouser. They pull up on the right side, and it's Scott Combs who came in for Steve Whitty during the last break. 6'7", 205 out of Paoli High School, who knocks it home.
Scott can play inside and out. You know, and prove that, can run off the bench right there, knocked home a 3.
8-point Indiana lead, 14-6, 14-11 to play. Nice double pump inside to no avail, but he follows up on the other side. Still can't get it, Caneric Martin. Follow up again, knocked away. Nice defensive play by Brian Hanley. Out of bounds to Kentucky. Now a change for the Indiana Stars. And Lee Nalen out of South Bend Clay at 6'8", 220. His ball club won the state championship this year, and he was a major reason why.
He had a great state final right down the street here in the Hoosier Dome. And, you know, a kid we'd really never heard of, and really made a name for himself right there.
Indeed he did. He and his brother were both factors in that game. Indiana doing a good job creating a traffic flow problem under the baseline. Not this time, though. Here's the missed shot. Here's the ball stripped away and out of bounds. Lee Nalen knocked it away from Eric Martin. It was almost showtime for Martin, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, it's always good to have, you know, make a substitution. And here, you know, it comes off the bench and makes a great play. And here Nalen makes a great play. You know, Combs just stuck a 3 when he came off the bench, so that's always a positive.
We're back to live action with 13:45 to play. Well, he can flat jump, Denny. That's what they were talking about defensively. How do you stop that?
Right. They have to play Hanley on him because of the size difference inside.
Greg Buckner at 6'4",
he can do that shot.
He does. Here's the outside long-range shot. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Scott Combs. So Combs comes off the bench for Steve Whitty and gets 5 on the board in a hurry, and it's 17-6. Indiana had 7 points off turnovers early on in this game, and it's much in contrast. There's another turnover by the Kentucky boys. We'll get changes now. Sean Doherty coming in for Indiana. For Kentucky, they will put Tony Petrowski in the lineup, and Lewis Richardson will come in for the Kentucky Stars. Jerry Baker along with Jim Hamill of Lafayette Jeff. Jim took his ball club to the state finals, was it, Jim, 92?
93.
92.
I'm sorry.
I have to tell you when you did that. How can you forget that? Lost over to our friend old George Griffith there in Richmond in overtime, and then last year coached the All-Stars and split that series after a complete blowout in Game 1 last year. What a terrific coaching job that must have been for Game 2, huh? He came back and won that thing.
Well, kids played great.
A missed shot by Buckner. Rebound Drew. Here comes Indiana. 4-on-1 at the other end, and a foul. Scott Padgett.
When you get a breakaway, you have to convert it, and Kentucky did not right there. And if you don't, you're probably going to get hurt at the other end. And Indiana had 4-on-1. Bryce Drew's going to find the open man. You get the ball in Bryce's hand, he's going to find him and was nailing down the floor.
There's Lee Nalen. Those are his numbers. State finals against Ben Davis in the afternoon game. He had 25 points and 4 rebounds. Against South Bend Clay, he had 35 points and 7 rebounds. And Jim, in those 2 games, shot 24 of 40 for 60%. Amazing numbers.
Like I said, he was a kid really that nobody knew about. And Coach DeBakes just did a great job of bringing his kids down here and going away with the thing that everybody wants.
At the other end.
Boy, Kentucky's trying to take it right at him. That was Peterson. Just took it right at him. They're going to stay in this 1-2-2 and backing it up a little bit here right now. They're not trapping in it like they started the ball game. Indiana's going to get another 3 here. There's another kid that can shoot the 3.
Whitehead from long range. It's an air ball down into the hands of Scott Combs. Puts it back up off the mark. Lewis Richardson comes out with that errant shot.
Scott Combs has Buckner now in Indiana's defense.
Near steal, it turns into a steal. Whitehead, hard to the hoop, yes. 4 points for Whitehead. And it's 21-8 now in favor of the Indiana Stars. 13-point lead is their biggest of the game. Oh, what a great baseline move by Buckner.
Just beat him off the dribble there. That was again a problem last week. Was taking him when he was outside. Was he took us off the dribble.
We've got a network going throughout Indiana and Kentucky. You should be advised if you're a Kentucky fan that Indiana had the Kentucky Stars down by 16 last week. Lost the lead totally. In fact, Kentucky took the lead late in the ball game. Numbers 4-on-2 on the break. Here's the alley-oop. Oh, what a great pass! The underhand scoop from Tony Petrowski inside to Lewis Richardson, gets the bucket, draws the foul, and goes to the line. The foul is on Combs. You can see it coming, Jim, all the way. This is a great pass.
I can't even relate to this highlight because we never had one of those at Lafayette Jeff. This kid is up in the air. I think this is Richardson's a player that they have to have. I mentioned to you earlier that when he came in last week and had 3 fouls, just bang, 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 and really never got going. He averaged 32 points a ball game. I believe he was the leading scorer in the state of Kentucky last year, and is the one physical force that they have maybe to contend with some Indiana kids.
He averaged 32 points. He converts the 3-point play. Did Richardson. He shot 57% from the field and 78% from the line and had 14 rebounds. Timeout Indiana, 21-13 your score, 11-16 to play. Now this from one of your local stations.
I'm Bob Knight for Federated Insurance. One sure way to help win at basketball is by getting the most out of your players. And that's the same with your business. You've got to get the most out of your insurance company. You'll get the most out of Federated Insurance because they give you more for your money than anyone else. Their Wright Report, as an example, will better help you understand your unique insurance needs and how you can best protect your business. Talk to your local Federated representative.
Let's talk smart. Let's talk Eagle Vision, V6, power windows and locks, air conditioning, automatic transmission, and more. Let's talk safety. Let's talk lease. We're talking $249 a month. Hey, stop talking and go test drive a new Vision ESI. It's the least we can do for you.
See your local Jeep and Eagle dealer today.
Of all the books in the world, which is so timely that it forecasts the weather or offers stock market analysis and tells you the best seats at the ballpark? which book is so comprehensive that it can answer virtually any question? Or direct you to people who can? Perhaps a book that has everything, a book unlike any other. The Everything Pages from GTE answers almost any question on Earth. Another way, it's amazing what we can do together.
Jim Hamill, I mentioned last year Kentucky won down in Louisville 107-91. Then you guys turned around and won 107-89 in Indianapolis. How in the world did you turn that thing around like that?
Our kids, just understood that the tradition of this game and how much it means to the people in Indiana. And we just had a great work week. When you have a great work week, you have a chance for some success. And it was a great win for our kids for the state of Indiana last year.
But you're finding this particular position a little easier than the one on the other side of the court?
This is much more fun. It's much more relaxing, much less pressure right here, I guarantee you.
Richardson gets the foul. It's number 1 on him.
Scott Combs has really contributed. He's guarding Buckner at one end. He's hit 2 threes. Got a nice offensive rebound right there. Again, the kid that moved from Lebanon, went to a new school, and obviously, did well for himself down there.
Sean Doherty, number 5 out of Vincennes Lincoln, played for Gene Miller. Gene had a great year again this year. What's new? 21 and 5 was his mark. Doherty averaged 19, 10 boards, shot 50% from the field and 81% from the line. And Sean gets his first 2 points of the night. And that gives Indiana that little cushion there you see on your screen by 10. Great hustle for the rebound by Scott Combs. They'll get him for a walking violation, much to the chagrin of the slightly partisan Hoosier crowd here at Market Square Arena.
That's one Steve didn't understand over there. He didn't like that. See, I can sit there and laugh at coaches now.
That's right, no problem. That's the way. That's the way Tom was a few moments ago. 10:45 to play in this first half. 23-13. We've got a foul called against Kentucky. I think they got Thomas. They did. They got Marty Thomas.
He's got an illegal pick, I believe.
Tom May was our color analyst in the first game with the young ladies, and he found this seat a little more comfortable than across the way over there. By the way, the Indiana girls won 100-92 with a 29-point effort from Angela Hamblin and 24 from Tiffany Gooden. That set a new 2-game scoring record total. We talked about George McGinnis a while ago. She'd already set the 1-game record last week when she had 31. So add 24 today. 3 off the mark. Great tip. Up will not go. Inside for Nalen. And it's out of bounds to Indiana. They'll reset the 35-second shot clock. I gave you some numbers a while ago for Nalen. They're incorrect. He had 16 points and 8 rebounds against New Albany, and then 16 and 5 against Valparaiso, and shot 58% from the floor. So the numbers I gave you were not far off of what I just gave you there as corrected numbers. Here's a time. No, it is out of bounds to Kentucky.
They threw it out of bounds. We didn't move very well there in the out of bounds situation.
You saw Larry Miller, the head coach of this Kentucky All-Star squad, and he had the experience of working as a assistant coach a year ago. Did you have any assistant coaching experience, Jim, with the boys?
No, last year was my first one.
Yeah, that's tough. You're walking right in the middle of this. There are some things expected of you.
It's just a great honor. It's a great thing to be over there, to be chosen by Pat Aikman and whoever.
Well, you could tell when I talked to Larry Miller at halftime of the girls' game that he was very proud to represent the great state of Kentucky as their head basketball coach.
It's hard for people in other states to understand how an all-star game can mean this much.
Great backdoor cut that time by Bishop.
That little role reversal there. We had Doherty out on the floor and Bishop inside and made a nice cut. Doherty made a nice pass there.
They made eye contact and Sean got it to him. Tim out of Valparaiso, a 6-footer, 175, and they get it right back to the other end in the form of Marty Thomas getting his first 2 points of this game. Kentucky's had problems taking care of the basketball so far. They've turned it over 9 times. Indiana only 3. It's 25-15. Indiana with a lead. Kentucky's never led in this ball game, and the Hoosier lead has reached a level of 13. There's a terrible pass this time by Doherty. He expected somebody to cut, and nobody did. Rod wanted a traveling violation. They won't get it. Here's a tip off the back of the board that time by Marty Thomas, and Indiana comes up. This little guy with the basketball, Latrell Whitehead, can really make things happen at 5'7" tall.
Well, that's Mallory right now in the game.
Is it Mallory?
You're right.
Yeah, that's right. 13 Mallory. They put Don Mallory and he took Whitehead out.
Same thing.
They're identical.
Very similar players.
Off the mark.
Played for Coach Whitting.
Mallory had 4 steals last Saturday, and he and Whitehead together don't really total up to one great big tall guy, but they sure do get a job.
They both really get after it. And Mallory, as I said, was a great player for those 2 state finalist teams for Coach Whitty and Ben Davis. He was really their leader both years.
Scott Padgett coming back into the lineup now for the Kentucky Stars, along with Greg Buckner. Buckner has 4 points. Padgett has not scored so far in the game. Indiana has missed its last 5 3-point field goal attempts.
Kentucky went man-to-man here, I think, the first that I've noticed it anyway. Indiana's a little confused right here, I think, offensively.
Down to the 8.5-minute mark of the half, and it's 25-15 Indiana. Kentucky got out of the box slow, and they have struggled. Double dribble. Mallory. Boy, he had terrific defense right in his face that time. Elton Scott was in the area.
Well, the defensive change there caused that turnover. We were just they've been zone, and I think that's what we expected them to play the whole ball game, and they jumped into an aggressive man-to-man.
Powers going out of the lineup for Indiana, out of Richmond, 6'6", 185.
There's what they like to do right there, is throw the ball over to him. Buckner. It's threw that one up in the air for grab, and he goes up and gets it.
Having some points now for Greg Buckner, wearing number 2. Elton Scott wears number 1. He's the Mr. Basketball in the state of Kentucky.
I don't believe he's taken a shot yet, I don't think, Jared.
He hasn't touched the ball very much. Doherty got trapped in the corner.
That was a one-time only thing. They're right back in that trap zone again.
Richardson lost it. Loose ball picked up Mallory.
Big guy tried to put it on the floor with the little guy, and that's a problem.
Terrific defensive play by Buckner, who, as we told you, can really leap out of the building. Battle on the floor. Loose ball picked up by Kentucky. They finally got it into the hands of Tony Petrowski. Here's the alley-oop inside. Didn't work this time. Here's the baseline push-up jumper off the mark. Rebounded by Mallory. Here we go. Showtime for Neyland. Lee Neyland's first 2 points of the game makes it 27-17 Indiana. 7:20 to play in the game, first half.
Same situation there. You got to convert when you get a chance, and when you don't, it's going to be breaks.
Watch this fast break again, and watch Neyland convert at the other end. Rather high percentage shot, I would say. Well, we'll get a timeout now with 7:16 to play here in the first half. Indiana's never trailed. They're up by 10, 27-17.
All over Indiana, teenage drivers are making a promise they can live by.
I promise to drive safely.
I promise to not drink and drive. I promise to drive defensively, especially at night.
I promise to buckle up.
Keep your promise, and Farm Bureau Insurance promises to give you a $1,000 savings bond if you drive with us for 3 consecutive years without a traffic violation or an accident. See your Farm Bureau Insurance agent for details.
The Indianapolis Marriott, 21st and Chamberlain. Stay where the All-Stars stay. Make your next weekend a championship event. Ask about our special 2 for breakfast getaway weekend for only $74 per night. Enjoy a deluxe guest room and a hearty breakfast for 2 in Marriott's legendary Durban restaurant. For weekend reservations, call 317-352-1231. The Indianapolis Marriott, 21st and Chamberlain. For weekend reservations, call 317-352-1231.
The big old hands off to AJ with 10 seconds to go. AJ weaves past Bird. Fakes the offer. He drives to the basket. He was fouled. 2 seconds on the clock. AJ's cool. He shoots. And the All-Stars win. Yeah.
Indiana boys and girls dream of being All-Stars. We're proud to make it possible.
No autographs, no autographs.
Well, because of World War II, there were no All-Star teams selected in 1943 and 44. So Pat Aikman has put together the 1944 Indiana All-Stars with the help of a lot of people. And there's Jay McClain, one of those. Many of them will be here at halftime. We're going to show you that ceremony live, by the way, so stay with us. That'll be a lot of fun. These guys, they did not have an All-Star team, but they've made one 50 years later. Here's the foul on Indiana.
That idea of Pat's, of that 50-year All-Star team, the kids at that time didn't make it because of the war. It's just been a great idea. I attended the banquet last year on the 43 team, and you see growing men with tears in their eyes finally being recognized. That's a great thing.
Kentucky has scored only 2 points in the last 2.5 minutes. Terry Moore is handling our stats for us again this game, and they still have scored only 2 points. Here's Richardson. He did not score a point, had 1 rebound in last Saturday's game.
Indiana likes to run a free throw break down the sideline. Kentucky took it away here this week.
They worked on that in practice, and I was down there on Monday in that heat and humidity of the University of Indianapolis facilities. They got it inside, back door, and a great job by John Newhouser of Leo.
Great pass from Bryce Drew.
It's an 11-point lead for Indiana with 6:45 to play in the first half. Oh, what a super spin move that was by Richardson.
Outstanding move.
My goodness. Richardson now with 4 points to his credit, make it 6 points to his credit, and a couple of field goals, and 2 out of 3 from the line. Mallory dishes off right side. Newhouser couldn't get that with the ball, and Richardson, who was 6'8" and 210 pounds, comes ripping out of there with it. A near travel violation, and Richardson follows up the missed shot by Thomas.
Again, you feel like if they can keep him in the ball game, I think they can stay in the ball game. Again, a player that really didn't get to play much last week because of his own foul problem.
Drew thought about it, pulled it back inside. In the corner, this is Darner. Ty Darner. 3-pointer for Ty. He did not have one last Saturday. Those are his first points out of Anderson Highland, a 6'5", 190. Pretty good basketball family. Oh, pick my pocket with Mallory. No look pass inside. What a pass by Drew. They won't get the bucket, though, and it comes down into the hands of Kentucky. Here come the Kentucky Stars. Nice no-look pass the other way, and the bucket goes to Richardson. Well, Richardson has come off the bench for Larry Miller and played some sensational basketball. He has already 10 points on 4 field goals and 2 out of 3 from the line. And just like that, with 5:15 to play in the half, it's 32-24 in favor of Indiana. Open man is Mallory. Bingo. 3-point field goal, Mallory. That's the 4th 3-pointer for the Indiana Stars.
I think we're going to get all the 3-point attempts we won against their zone. I think Kentucky's happy to have us taking that shot.
Rogers pushed his way inside, misses the shot. The rebound comes off to Indiana's John Newhouser. Mallory kicks it up court. Drew got it inside to Darner. Darner drops it off, and that's Newhouser.
Nice pass by Ty Darner. Really nice touch pass right there. And a good look by Bryce Drew.
Drew had 4 assists in the victory last Saturday to go along with 13 points and 5 rebounds. That's another great assist for Mr. Basketball from Valparaiso High School. 3 in the sky. Off the mark, rebound Drew. 37-24, 4:21 to go first half. Indiana with the lead in the basketball. Mallory, they left him alone. Not this time. Rebound into the hands of Newhouser. He dishes off. Ty Darner got hammered.
Joe, you have to be impressed the way the Indiana kids are passing the basketball, giving it up. That's tough to do in an all-star game.
Watch this
great
play
luck
here
by Drew, and then a really nice touch pass there by Ty Darner. But they've shown that the willingness to give the ball up, and again, that's what this game's about, that other all-star games don't have. Indiana kids, Kentucky kids, they come in this game to win. It's not an individual thing. They come in this thing to win for their state, and to win, you have to give the ball up.
Indiana now has played all 12 of its players. I'm just checking down the roster here to see if that is indeed the case with Kentucky. They are putting Moselle Peterson out of Ballard High School back in the lineup, getting set to put Vince Bingham out of Jessamine. 6'3", 195 in the lineup. There's the miss by Darner.
I keep trying to figure out how you know what the score is here. I keep looking around here.
Well, there's one right up here, Coach. One right up there, and then there's one right up there.
All right.
Now, you told me you came here for the Pacer playoffs. Did you not know what the score was?
I was right up there by that thing. I could see it real well.
You mean you didn't have real good seats that night? You should have called me. You should have called me.
Yeah. That's what my brother said.
4 points now for Ty Darner. It's 38-24. 14-point Indiana leads, their biggest of the game after Kentucky had mounted a good, strong comeback after being down by 13. Here comes Buckner again.
Walk there.
He traveled.
Just surprised they're not doing what they had success with last week, and that's getting Buckner inside and just getting the ball to him. They've been content to keep it on the perimeter.
Timeout. 3 minutes, 48 seconds of playing time remain in the first half. It's 38-24 in favor of the Indiana All-Stars. Back in a moment after this word from your local station.
At Bank One, we're always bringing the latest financial services to our customers. Now we're about to do it again. Introducing personal investment centers from Bank One Securities Corporation. The power of Wall Street, located right inside your bank.
Come on, get into it.
Yeah, get into a great truck deal from your local Chevy dealer.
Ooh, yeah.
Like Chevy S-Series, starting at $91.75. Or get into an extended cab with stereo cassette and aluminum wheels for just $11,703.
Get into it.
How about this Chevy work truck for just $12,954? Or saving $1,200 on this loaded Silverado? If you can get into that, then get into your local Chevy dealers now.
Get into it.
You are confused about them. It's true, they're offering you savings to Hong Kong. You don't know anyone in Hong Kong. They want you to sign up your family and friends. You'd rather let your family and friends call you.
Uncle Bob.
It's cheaper. They want you to sign up the person you call most.
Joey the Pizza King here.
You don't want that. Yeah, how about some features you do want? Services you can use. We offer things they don't. We're Ameritech. Call us at 1-800-AROUND-YOU.
Hello, Ameritech? I want a phone in my bathroom.
Okay.
Ameritech, designed around you.
Nice crowd on hand at Market Square Arena tonight. We have the largest all-star network we've ever had going into Lexington, Louisville, Hopkinsville, Hazard down in Kentucky, Lafayette, Evansville, Merrillville, Fort Wayne, South Bend, and Indianapolis. Telecast sponsors: Farm Bureau Insurance, the Hoosier Lottery, Indianapolis Marriott, and the Indianapolis Star. Thanks to all of our sponsors, the telecast, and the corporate sponsors who made this such an enjoyable week for the All-Stars. Nice follow-up shot finally falls. Ryan Hanley. Hanley getting his first two. There's a young man out of Jeffersonville High School. He was 3 for 8 from the floor last week and finished up with 7 points. Gets his first two tonight. 40-24 Indiana. Indiana's taken a ton of threes. They put up 14 already and hit 5 of them. Kentucky is 0 for 2. Here's a 3 from long range. Make it 1 for 3. As Buckner gets his 7th, making his 9th point of this ball game. He had 28 points in the loss last Saturday at Freedom Hall. Crowd kind of settled down a little bit now. Inside 3 minutes and a half. Nice Drew. Drew open left wing. Rebound just pouring out of there by Moselle Peterson from Louisville Ballard High School. Coast to coast, off the mark. Rebound back long into the hands of Newhouser from Leo High School. 3-on-3 the other way. Very wisely, Whitehead, who's now in the lineup, pulls up. It's knocked out of bounds, belongs to Kentucky.
I think they missed one right there. I think that was off of Kentucky.
Well, they don't miss many now. Out of bounds, Indiana. I will say this for the first game, the officiating was much more agreeable to an all-star format in this girls game tonight, much in contrast to last week's game in Louisville when there were a ton of fouls called and took forever to play the ball game. They let them play tonight, and that was a good ball game.
That game last week was a marathon.
It was something else. 100-92 was the final, in case you just joined us. The top scorer was Heidi Coleman for Kentucky. She came off the bench, hit 23 points on 7 of 12 from the floor, 4 out of 6 from the three-point area, and 5 out of 6 from the line. Here's the steal by Kentucky. Indiana's top scorers, Angela Hamlin with 29, and Tiffany Good, Miss Basketball, had 24. Drew with good position inside. Much like the girls' game, Jim, there's not much half-court offense being run right now.
No, I don't think, this is not the way that we played well, and we've been coming down and kind of firing the thing right now. I think Coach Whitty's too happy right now.
Now to a minute 22 to play.
There's where they got him last week.
Yes, sir. And
that's tough down there, boy.
Buckner has 5 field goals now. One of those 5's a three-pointer.
Need to get a good shot here. We're going into halftime, and we're about where we were a week ago. Going into halftime with the lead, let them get back. Now we got to finish this thing right.
They were up by 15 at the midway mark last week. It's out of bounds. Could not be handled that time by Henley. And much like last week's game, Indiana had a 16-point lead in the first half of that game. So this is, as Yogi would say, deja vu all over again.
Yeah, that's right.
1 minute to play in the half. It's 40-29. Penetration right up the middle. Myrick, nice play.
Now we reached and made a mistake there. Nobody stopped the basketball.
Out of Mason County. Well, the Kentucky Stars have climbed back into this thing. They were down by 16. Now they trail by 9. Looking inside to Newhouser, trying to post him up. Here's the double clutch that won't go, and the foul is either on Myrick. In fact, that's who it's going to be on, is Tim Myrick.
Kentucky foul is on number 6, Tim Myrick.
And that's the first foul of the game on Tim Myrick. The last time Indiana swept all 4 games was in '87. As a matter of fact, that's the only time it's happened. Mr. Basketball, well, there were 2 of them that year for Indiana, Jay Edwards and Lyndon Jones out of Marion. And Miss Basketball that year came from Fort Wayne Northrop in the form of Lori Minerding. It's the only time that Indiana has won all 4 of the games. Now Kentucky has swept all 4 of them twice. They did it in '77 and also in '79. Final seconds, first half. Yeah, you may have been able to pick up that comment.
Oh, the scriptures on there of who was home.
Yeah, I guess so. There's a foul on Whitehead. He'll get credited with it whether he was guilty or not. Whitehead with a 5-point first half. Pull up shot left side off the mark. Rebound comes down to Indiana, and reach in foul on Richardson. That'll be 2 on Lewis Richardson.
A frustration foul there, Jerry. He really didn't take a very good shot and tried to make up for it by reaching on. It's going to be tough for him to steal the ball from Gerald Whitehead.
So Indiana goes into the bonus now, and that will send Ladrell Whitehead to the line. He is 1 for 2 from the free throw stripe in this game tonight. First one is good. Whitehead, headed for the University of Wyoming, was an AP first-team All-Stater this year. Also made all-sectional, all-regional, and all semi-state teams over this past season. Showing Whitehead now with 7 points of the night. Average 23-1. According to Albany High School and Jim Miller's ball club, they went 25-2 into the state finals this year. Follow-up shot, and that's the end of the first half. Well, it wasn't as pretty as either coach, I'm sure, would have liked, Jim, but your thoughts now as Steve Woody heads to the locker room. He and Larry Miller hooked up in a coaching duel, and what kind of adjustments do you make here at halftime?
Well, my immediate thought would be that this is almost exactly the way it went last week, and Kentucky came roaring back. I'm sure we're going to see that 1-3-1 half-court trap here, early on here in the second half, and they had a lot of success with last week. They haven't used it again this week in the first half, and Indiana it really caused Indiana fits last week. So we got to continue to attack, and 12-point lead at the halftime. You got to feel good about that.
The 1944 All-Stars will be introduced, and we come back. There's your halftime score with Indiana on top, 43-31.
There's one seat everyone would love to sit in. A seat on the Hoosier Millionaire Show. And with new Hoosier Millionaire from the Hoosier Lottery, not only can you win $500 instantly, it's now the only way to get on the show, by winning the seat that everybody wants. Play new Hoosier Millionaire and get on the show, automatically.
I can't breathe!
The Indianapolis Marriott, 21st and Chamberlain. Stay where the All-Stars stay. Make your next weekend a championship event. Ask about our special 2 for breakfast getaway weekend for only $74 per night. Enjoy a deluxe guest room and a hearty breakfast for 2 in Marriott's legendary Durban restaurant. For weekend reservations, call 317-352-1231. The Indianapolis Marriott, 21st and Chamberlain. For weekend reservations, call 317-352-1231.
Hi, I'm Bob Knight for Federated Insurance. You know, every basketball player is different, and I try to look for the winning difference in players, and that's what you have to do with your insurance company. Look for the winning difference. With insurance, a key difference is value. That means getting the most for your money. Federated has a lot of unique qualities, such as the right report, which will help you get the absolute best protection for your business and its unique needs.
Farm Bureau Insurance, one of the All-Star Game sponsors, is also proud to fund Project Excel, a creative competition for high school students throughout the state.
It's time for the best of show today for Project Excel, and this award goes to the student who had the highest score in any category of all the entries that were judged. And the winner would be Alan Craig. Alan? Now, somebody else I want to recognize who's been very busy with Project Excel all year long. You've probably seen him at halftime of the Indiana and Purdue games. One of my heroes growing up, George McGinnis. George, why don't you come on up? Hey, you've been really busy with this all year, and I know that you're a big believer in what this program's all about.
Well, I'll tell you, I had an opportunity to meet with the people at Farm Bureau Insurance last summer, and I don't think I've ever had an association with a group of people or a company that I've enjoyed more than working with the people at Farm Bureau, and especially this Project Excel. It's been terrific to see the young people, and you know, so many times we all hear about the negative things that's happening to our young people, but there are some really outstanding qualities that sometimes we don't publicize about our young people, and this is certainly a program that does that, and I'm just really, really pleased to be a part of it.
Well, we're glad to see you, big guy, and greatest basketball out of Indiana. And let's give a round of applause to every contestant who was with us here today, because they've all been very successful in what they've done.
There's your halftime score, 43-41. It's time to meet the All-Stars from 1944. Let's go back across the floor now. Jim Pulaski.
Ladies and gentlemen, youngsters in the state of Indiana who grow up playing basketball have two goals: to win the state championship and to be an Indiana All-Star. Sometimes even the best teams don't grab the state title. In 1943 and 1944, the best of the state's best players didn't make it as All-Stars. The first Indiana All-Star team was named in 1939 and played the reigning state champions, Frankfort High School, in a summer game. The 1940 team was matched against a group of All-Stars from Kentucky in the first game of what has become the oldest series of its kind in the country. Teams were named and games were played in 1941 and 1942. But because of America's total involvement in World War II, the games in 1943 and 1944 were canceled. So no All-Star teams were named. Last year, Pat Aikman, the Indiana Games director since 1989, decided it was only fair that the state's top players from those 2 years should experience the thrill of being named All-Stars in recognition of their outstanding high school careers. The public was asked to nominate players. Aikman and the Indianapolis Star sports staff selected 13 players for the 1943 team, and they were honored at last year's game. This year, the same procedure was followed, and 14 players have been named to the 1944 team. Yesterday evening, Those living members of the 1944 team who were able to make it back to Indianapolis were honored at a dinner at which they were awarded plaques as well as commemorative athletic shoes from Converse. A special feature on the team begins on page 7 in your All-Star program. Now, we are proud to present the 1944 Indiana All-Star basketball team. He played at LaPorte. He now resides in Laguna Niguel, California. Unable to be present this evening, Zygmunt Ziggy Belzovsky. He played for East Chicago, Washington, now lives in Englewood, Colorado. Also unable to be present, Vince Barella. From Thorntown, now residing in Lebanon, Indiana, Donald Caldwell. From Campbellsburg, now residing in Bloomington, Indiana, Gene Ferris. From Frankfurt, now residing in Sebring, Florida, Bill Gosweir. From Converse, Indiana, now residing in Peru, Bob Macy. And a special introduction, present tonight, when Bob played for Converse Borderman in 1944, his coach was Don Ballard. Now 82 years young, Mr. Ballard is with us this evening. He's seated behind the Kentucky bench. Mr. Ballard, would you please stand, and let's welcome Bob Macy's high school coach. From Whiteland, and now residing in Greenwood, Indiana, Jay McLean. From Newcastle, now residing in Newcastle, Charles McMillan. He played for Fort Wayne Central. He resides in Fort Wayne today, Murray Mendenhall Jr. He played for Lebanon, now deceased. He's represented by his grandson, Richie Mount, Paul Pete Mount. He played for Martinsville, now lives in Indianapolis, Mel Payton. He played for Evansville Bossy, now resides in San Antonio, Texas, Gene Schmidt. He played for Indianapolis Lawrence Central, now resides in Newland, North Carolina, Norm Sloan. And he played for Kokomo and resides in Kokomo, Gene Turner. Ladies and gentlemen, through no fault of theirs, these men were denied the recognition that would have been theirs if there had been an all-star team named in 1944. We cannot make up for the honor they missed as high school seniors, but we can show them now that even though the honors are 50 years later in coming, they truly deserve to be known as the 1944 Indiana All-Star basketball team.
Well, that's very special. These young men, young in spirit anyway, I'm sure assumed their time would never come. It has, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Halftime score is 43-31. The Indiana Stars lead Kentucky. Will return to Market Square Arena right after this.
Since 1946, all Indianapolis proceeds from the Indiana-Kentucky All-Star Games have gone to help visually impaired Hoosiers, especially those with no other help. The Indianapolis Star is proud to be the sole Indiana sponsor of the Indiana-Kentucky All-Star Basketball Games.
The Indianapolis Marriott, 21st and Chamberlain. Stay where the All-Stars stay. Make your next weekend a championship event. Ask about our special 2 for breakfast getaway weekend for only $74 per night. Enjoy a deluxe guest room and a hearty breakfast for 2 in Marriott's legendary Durban restaurant. For weekend reservations, call 317-352-1231. The Indianapolis Marriott, 21st and Chamberlain. For weekend reservations, call 317-352-1231.
If you're a GTE telephone customer,
Hello, GTE Customer Care Center.
I have a question.
this is what service looks like.
We'll take care of it right away.
Because at GTE customer care centers all across the country,
1 second, I can fix it from here.
our employees have the power to solve customer needs on the
I can
spot.
do that right now.
Are you sure you don't have to ask your supervisor?
Yes, ma'am, I'm sure.
Customer care centers from GTE help us serve our telephone customers faster. Another way, it's amazing what we can do together.
Hyperkeratosis? Symptom: persistent, itchy, flaky scalp. Solution: Neutrogena T-Gel. It works.
This could be a very tricky shot. Of course, famous IU basketball coach Bob Knight knows about adversity. You can learn right along with him from golf pro Sam Carmichael. Just tune in to Golf Your Way with Bob Knight, Saturday nights at 10:30, Sunday mornings at 8, right here on TTV, Indiana's sports station.
Market Square Arena crowd starting to get settled back into their seats after a rather thrilling halftime performance, if you will, from the 1944 All-Stars. There's your halftime score, 43-31. Pat Aikman has joined me for the last 7 years now, the game director. Pat, we don't have a lot of time, but I wanted you to talk about the feeling, the All-Star experience.
Well, for me or for the players?
Well, for both of you, as a matter of fact.
One of the coaches said this evening that we've arrived at a good point. The kids don't want to go home. They're having too much fun, but they're tired and they're looking forward to sleeping in their own beds tonight. I think that's probably a good time to hang it up, and if we can get this victory here for the boys' game and get a 4-game sweep, it'll be great.
And I want you to take a second and talk to me about the Indianapolis Stars Fun for the Blind. You're working with the Lions Club this year.
Well, the money from our games tonight here in Indianapolis go to the Stars Fund for the Blind, and it's distributed to organizations and groups around the state of Indiana to help people who are blind.
Well, Pat, it's always a pleasure to work alongside you. You also can go home and sleep in your own bed and relax for a little while.
Well, that's true. We're going to have a party after this is over, whether we win this one or not. But we have had a great group of young people and great coaches, and it's just been a fantastic 2 weeks.
It's been fun being with you again. Thanks very much. We'll see you next year.
Thank you, Jerry.
Take care. Pat Aikman, the game director. We'll return with more in just a moment. Now, this from one of your local stations.
Hi, Slick Leonard here. It's a booming time at National Car Sales. National must liquidate hundreds of rental cars. Our lots are flooded with late model cars, trucks, and vans. Now through Saturday, shop for your best Boom Baby deal. Then enjoy the party as National celebrates the grand opening of National Boat Mart, the new name for boats in Indy. To get your best Boom Baby deal, tell them old Slick sent you out by the big old green sign at 7111 West Washington Street.
Good luck, Indiana All-Stars from National Car Sales.
Zenith presents AVI, advancing color television to a new level with Zenith's highest contrast and sharpest resolution ever, controlling your VCR, video games, and cable boxes. With Zenith's high-performance audio systems, AVI is Zenith's most advanced feature ever. AVI, tomorrow's technology today. Watch us.
Recommended TV, 1140 East Thompson, Indianapolis. Lynn's TV Sales and Service, 159 North Main Street, Martinsville.
The big old hands off to AJ with 10 seconds to go. AJ weaves past Bird. Fakes to Alford. He drives to the basket. He was fouled. 2 seconds on the clock. AJ's cool. He shoots. And the All-Stars win. Yeah.
Indiana boys and girls dream of being All-Stars. We're proud to make it possible.
No autographs, no autographs.
You are smart. You know who's calling before you pick up the phone.
I told you never to call me here.
You know who it's for just by the sound of the ring.
It's for you.
You've had your calls forwarded to the beauty shop because you knew that's where you'd be.
It's the telephone, Mrs. Pickford.
You called us at 1-800-AROUND-YOU. We're Ameritech. We can help you choose the products and services that can make your life easier, so you can talk to your new boss.
That much? Can you hold?
And your old boss.
I quit.
At the same time. Ameritech, designed around you.
Here are the halftime stats as the Indiana All-Stars lead 43-31. Kentucky, much like the Kentucky girls, getting more field goal attempts, but not as successful, only 38%. Free throws, as you see, quite a discrepancy there. In the three-point shooting, 1 for 3 for Kentucky. That one came from Greg Buckner, and 5 for 16 for Indiana, as they have really fired away from long range. 2 for Scott Combs and 1 each for Ty Garner, Don Mallory, and Shane Miller. In the rebounding category, 19-17 advantage for Indiana. And the top rebounder for the Hoosiers with 4 is John Newhouser. Scott Combs had 3. Greg Buckner had 4. Lewis Richardson 5 off the bench for the Kentucky boys. There's your leading scorers for Indiana. Combs with 8 points in the first half. As a matter of fact, Indiana had 10, making 11 players score. And the high point man was Combs. And I guess, Jim Hamill, if you're an all-star coach, you like that because you're letting everybody play and everybody scoring right now.
It continues a trend that we had last week that we were successful with, and that was everybody contributing. Our leading scorer last week only had 13 points, but we had 5 kids in double figures.
Shot blocked by the Drew shot blocked. He got it back and scored. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just saying that. They had 5 kids in double figures with a high of 13, and 2 with 8, and 1 with 7. So, you know, and first half just continued that trend. And you know, if you keep that up, then you're going to be successful.
There's a foul in Indiana at the other end. We're at Market Square Arena, downtown Indianapolis.
Scott Combs is going to starting assignment here in the second half.
Foul is on Drew. That's the first foul of the second half of this ball game. Next June, there's a turnover by Kentucky. Now they're going to turn it around, give the ball back to Kentucky, say it was last touched by Indiana. Next year's games will be on the 17th of June in Indianapolis at Market Square Arena, and then the 24th in Louisville. So a flip-flop from this year when the first game was played in Louisville. Indiana's got numbers on the break. It's given off a great assist that time from Brian Hanley. Dropped it off to Scott Combs. Hanley very unselfish that time to turn it over. At the other end, Jeff Rogers. Rogers getting his second field goal, 4th point of the game, and the trend we saw in the first half of up and down basketball continues in the second half of the game. Oh, what a backdoor cut. Missed the shot. Did Ladrell Whitehead. Tipped out long range into the hands of Eric Martin. Now to Elton Scott. Dropped inside. Martin again. Martin up. Martin scored. Interesting stat on Martin. Last week he was 7 for 10 for 16 points. Tonight now he is 2 for 6 for 4 points in this game. So they have shut Martin down a little bit.
Right, they have. Kentucky's come out man-to-man here in the second half. The first they played man-to-man since early on in the first game. Except for 1 possession in the first half.
47-35 in favor of Indiana. Rebound chased down by Drew. Gives it off left side. Newhouser, and he walked with the basketball. Steve Whitty didn't think so, but
the official's always going to call that walk. And it looks like walk. It doesn't matter if it is or not. If it looks like it's no good.
Baseline shot, good. Under duress, Martin. Back-to-back field goals for Martin gives him 6 points.
I'm sure Kentucky would like to see their Mr. Basketball, Elton Scott, get going. He's shut out again here in the first half. I don't believe he even took a shot. He's going to get one right here.
Oh, he's not. Terrific recovery defensively by Ladrell Whitehead.
I'm sure that Coach Miller would like to see him.
Elton Scott did not take a shot. Did not take a shot in the first half. You're right on the money, Jim. He did not take a shot. And here's a guy that you count on because he averaged 29 points and was the Gatorade Player of the Year in Kentucky.
Coming out early here.
Yeah. Played for Tim Davis. His ball club went 22-10 at Marion County High School in Lebanon, Kentucky. 6'7", 185. He has struggled. Here's the long-range rebound into the hands of Don Mallory. 3-on-1 to give it to the trailer. The foul is called. The foul on Scott Padgett.
Mallory can run the break, boy. He's a great look-away passer.
Shows you the unselfishness of this all-star squad.
See him here leading the break and look away right here. And, hit the trailer. Boom. Big guys like that. Get that ball. You only have to dribble. I'll just go up and dunk it.
If you're watching and would like to get on the priority mailing list for the Indianapolis games next year, call the Indianapolis Star. Ask for the All-Star office, and your ticket order form will be mailed to you next February in time to get the best seats available. There's Steve Whitty. Had Ben Davis into the finals a couple of years and couldn't quite get the job done. 1 out of 2.
Kentucky was in the lane early right there.
All right, 5 points for Newhouser. He'll get a chance to make it 6 points. John Newhouser out of Leo. Richard Butt's ball club went 23-1. Their only loss, of course, in the state tournament this year. Martin. Will they count the basket? Great play.
Didn't go in, Jerry.
It didn't go in? All right. I looked away for a second.
Really nice penetration pass by Rogers.
Martin has 4 quick points here in the second half.
So you try to really teach young kids to make the bounce pass when you're inside, you're in trouble, not to get the ball up there, play the big man's game. And Rogers did a really nice job there getting under the Indiana kids.
So even the All-Star games, if it doesn't go in, they don't count it. Is that?
That's one of those things. Pros sometimes you guys do.
It teaches me not to look away and look at my stat sheet here. That's what it does.
You can do that in the NBA, and then 5 seconds later it goes in and they count that thing.
Martin coming out of the box strong here in the second half. Youngster out of Fairdale High School misses the second. He has 5 of the 7 points, though, Kentucky has in the second half. Now they add 2 more to the board on the follow-up by Moselle Peterson.
Nice rebound, step through.
Out of Louisville Ballard High School. That makes it 49-40. Kentucky will not say die. Much like the first game in Louisville last Saturday when they were down by 16.
Double pick for Bryce in the corner, and he'll throw the ball inside here for Cam.
Drew one-on-one against Peterson, and Moselle is hit with the personal foul. It's the first of the game on him. Indiana turned the ball over 10 times in the first half to 13 for Kentucky.
Kentucky did some defensive work this week. That was a play right there. That was a set that they had a lot of problems with in the first half last week.
Drew.
Another nice kick.
Inside, great defensive play, but Afano up 7-on-7. Newhouser had his shot blocked by Paget, got it back and still scored. And John now with 8 points. Down to the 17-minute mark of the second half, playing 20-minute college halves, 35-second shot clock. Kentucky will inbounds to our left. Scott Paget. St. Xavier High School will toss it in. And the rebound by John Newhouser. Rebound Paget.
Indiana's playing a little zone this half. Playing their matchup zone. So we switched here.
Long range shot is good by Peterson.
Indiana's Moselle Peterson with 3 points.
That's 5 points in the half and 7 in the game for Moselle Peterson. That'll get you back in the game in a hurry. That is only the second 3-pointer of the game for Kentucky. I mentioned that Indiana shot 16 threes in the first half. Loose ball knocked free into the hands of Rogers from Louisville Eastern. Alley-oop, Martin blocked away beautifully by Indiana. Back up from outside, off the mark. Rebound long on the other side and picked off by Indiana. Here comes Mallory, little 5'5", 168-pounder out of Ben Davis High School. Henley. And the rebound to Paget again. Here's the loose ball on the floor, picked up by Indiana. Flipped out, now the numbers on the break, 3-on-2. Indiana's got the numbers. Scott Combs is fouled as he goes baseline. The foul is on Paget. And that's the third on Scott.
Sure, Coach Whitty would like to see Scott get the ball to Bryce right there in the middle of the break and then get it back. We had numbers right there and didn't get a shot.
Indiana's going to make a change. They'll put Shane Miller back in the lineup and first a timeout. That 16-point lead's been cut down to 8 with 15:44 to go in the second half.
Part of what makes a house a home is being able to count on certain things.
What time's dinner?
Same time as always.
Great.
That's why we have Farm Bureau Insurance. It's an Indiana company that's been protecting families like ours for nearly 60 years. It's nice knowing they'll always be right here.
I almost forgot.
So what else is new? I like being able to count on things. That's why I like Farm Bureau Insurance.
What could be better than a day on the course? Except, of course, new Drive for Dough from the Hoosier Lottery. Because with Drive for Dough, you can win up to $2,500 instantly without losing your shirt. And if golf's not your game, take a scratch at Barrels of Bucks, where you've got 6 chances at $6,000. New Barrels of Bucks and Drive for Dough from the Hoosier Lottery. Take a shot at them.
The Indianapolis Marriott, 21st and Chamberlain. Stay where the All-Stars stay. Make your next weekend a championship event. Ask about our special 2 for breakfast getaway weekend for only $74 per night. Enjoy a deluxe guest room and a hearty breakfast for 2 in Marriott's legendary Durban restaurant. For weekend reservations, call 317-352-1231. The Indianapolis Marriott, 21st and Shadeland. For weekend reservations, call 317-352-1231.
There's a look at Ty Garner, number 9 out of Anderson-Highland High School. He and Tiffany Gooden of Fort Wayne were the winners of the John Wooden MCL Cafeteria All-Star Citizenship Awards. Players nominated by their high school. MCL selecting the 2 winners. Former All-Stars George McGinnis and Steve Downing were the keynote speakers at their gathering.
Lee Nalen open for a nice jumper right there in the key on an out-of-bounds situation.
Nalen getting his first bucket in the second half, seeing his first playing time in the second half.
Willie's team staying in their matchup. Here they're going to dare him to shoot the 3.
Buckner couldn't get it. The rebound comes into the hands of Bryce Drew. Ooh, man. Big tumble up court by Lee Nalen. Shane Miller thought about it, changed his mind. And they got it back out of the hands of Don Mallory. Mallory's got his shirt tail out. It's almost touching the floor. Oh, what a spin move inside that's off the mark. Hanley couldn't get it. Knocked away. Belongs to Kentucky. 10-point lead, 53-43 in favor of Indiana.
Brian didn't miss very many of those for Jeffersonville. He got in the state 2 years in a row and won it the 1 year. It moves just like that inside.
Spin move baseline Richardson. He was red hot in the latter stages of the first half. Out of bounds, off his foot. Hello to one of our viewers in the Kentucky area, throughout Indiana. Indiana All-Star teams visited the Indiana School for the Blind this week for lunch. The tour saw the recreation room restored through funds from the All-Star game, seeing some of their efforts put to use. Kentucky with the steal. Kentucky turns it right back over again.
Tim Myrick went right up on the bench down there.
The lapse of some of the sports writers.
We had some startled sports writers down there. We're in the action.
Here's that scoring run over the last 5 minutes. They've doubled the score, 12-6. Lead by 10 with 14:15 to play. Drew.
Nice pick. Brian Hanley just flat laid a pick on that. Kentucky player right there. Broke Bryce Drew open.
8 points for Bryce Drew out of Valparaiso High School. Young man, Mr. Basketball, had a terrific year for Valparaiso this past season. State runner-up, Bob Hunter's ball club was. They were 28-1. There's a strong move inside as he just stayed right at it, did Richardson. First points in the second half for Lewis Richardson. He had 10. Greg Buckner was high man for Kentucky with 11. And Buckner has not scored here in the second half. We got to get the Indiana All-Stars longer shirts next year. 3 of the 5 on the floor now have their shirts out. Hadley with the rebound. Quickly up court, Shane Miller pulls up from outside. It's off the mark. There's the rebound, follow up by Drew. It won't go, and Richardson comes off with the rebound for the guys from Kentucky. 55-45.
Nice look inside. Nice pass by Myrick inside.
Tempers get just a little edgy here. Not a lot of scoring in the second. And here's another look at it, Jim.
All right, that's a nice pass by Myrick to Richardson. And he and Hanley have had something going here the last 3 or 4 times down the floor.
Well, there's the little in-your-face conversation.
Richardson's bounced back with a really good game tonight. He was again as a player they needed. I think he got shut out last week.
They did not score a point, had 1 rebound last week. First team All-State player. He was the MVP of their Mustang Classic this past year. Out of Louisville Moore High School. Tommy Finnegan's ball club was 30-4 this year. Terrific season.
He led the state in scoring, and he's led the state of Kentucky in scoring. I'm sure that was a shock to him to get a 0. It's probably been a long time since he had one of those.
He gets 1 out of 2 from the line, 13 points tonight. He averaged 32 points and 14 rebounds for Louisville Moore High School this past year.
Staying in their man-to-man, they still haven't shown that 1-3-1 half-court trap.
Now we're inside 13 minutes. They got it inside. Nalen.
Nice pass inside by Sean Doherty.
Half a dozen points now for Lee at 6'8" out of South Bend Clay. Kentucky turns it over at the other end. I mentioned Lee Nalen. His brother LaShawn was on that state championship team, and if there's anybody in the South Bend area looking for a free ride next year, this guy was a junior at 6'5", 200 pounds. So they're going to run him in and see what he can do.
He's not unknown anymore.
No, he's not. He is certainly not. He had a great year. Tom DeBates and that state champion ball club finished up 27-2. Hoosiers turn it over with 12.5 minutes to play in this game. 57-46 is your score. Indiana with a lead. We've had no ties and no lead changes in this game. Much in contrast to the girls' game when they finally finished up play today. They had 8 ties and a dozen lead changes, and the Indiana ladies won it 100-92. So they have back-to-back 100-point games. Some substitutions now. Going out of the lineup is Buckner. Cameron Mills is in out of Lexington Dunbar High School. Everybody on both sides of the roster has played tonight, and that's good. Rebound into the hands of Tim Bishop. Awful from Valparaiso. Dish up court. Wouldn't fall. On the floor and a foul. It's on Indiana. And I believe they get Bishop.
Nice lead pass by Bishop. Madrell just didn't get the ball in the basket, but it's a good break by Indiana.
Those numbers on Bishop were outstanding. I mentioned earlier that I turned him around. He had 25 points against Ben Davis and 35 against South Bend Clay for that runner-up squad this year, and shot 60% in the 2 games in the state finals.
Fouled out in the overtime, which really hurt Valpo.
Yep.
Terrific. Had a great game.
Terrific shooting under some sensational pressure.
No, either team get it going right here.
That's right.
Could establish something. That's not been played very well here in the last 4 or 5 minutes.
You got that right. 11:43 to go. Second half, 57-46 in favor of the Indiana Stars. Now this from your local station.
Not just something you read, something you use.
I'm Bob Knight for Federated Insurance. You know, one sure way to help win at basketball is by getting the most out of your players. And that's the same with your business. You've got to get the most out of your insurance company. You'll get the most out of Federated Insurance because they give you more for your money than anyone else. Their Wright Report, as an example, will better help you understand your unique insurance needs and how you can best protect your business. Talk to your local Federated representative.
It comes with a 56-inch diagonal viewing area, stereo sound, noise reduction, and quadra-track for remote operation. It has an optional V8 for fast tracking between stations, 4-wheel anti-lock brakes, and a driver's side airbag. Presenting Jeep Grand Cherokee, the ultimate entertainment center. Available for viewing at a dealer near you. Now get special values on Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo.
See your local Jeep and Eagle dealer today.
Special dinners for this year's Indiana teams provided by the Indianapolis law firms of McHale, Cook, and Welch and Barrington Thornburg. A dinner at the Marriott also provided by former Purdue great George Faber and his company, Faber B Windows. George, thank you very much. And all the folks involved with all those kinds of activities. The All-Stars, thank you. Indiana Stars up by 11. Doherty couldn't get it to fall. Rebound Padgett. They kick it up court. The open man is Cameron Mills, and he is hammered from behind by Tim Bishop. Well, you're right on, Jim Hamill. If anybody could break away here and play consistent ball for 5 minutes, they could either own this game or, in Kentucky's case, get right back into it.
That's right. Indiana could put them away. Here's a nice pass down floor. Boy, Bishop did not give up, and he got him with the lower body. That's one Coach always thinks it was a clean block.
There's the profile of Cameron Mills headed toward U of K. And for Rick Pitino down there. First team All-Stater, member of the 93 and the 94 All-State tournament teams. He was a 4-year starter for Frank Watson at Lexington Dunbar High School. He had a great year this past year. They went 32-9. Cameron had a career high of 25 points.
It's the game that's got to worry you for Indiana because we're just kind of not playing well. We're leaving them the ball game. You know, they're just kind of lowing around here. That the crowd's kind of out of it right now.
They really
Everybody's
are.
sitting back on their haunches, and this is one Kentucky can steal.
Second foul in Rodrell Whitehead. You and I were, well, take a look at it again here. That's a great steal.
I just picked him.
That's Rogers. The 11 fouling 11. You and I were talking, Jim, during the commercial break there that Mr. Basketball Elton Scott's been a terrific disappointment, I would think. Here's a kid that came in averaging 29 points and 10 rebounds. He had 4 points and 1 rebound in the first game. He hasn't even taken a shot in tonight's game.
I just hadn't been here. I don't. Maybe he's ill or injured or whatever, but he's just not. He has not been a factor in either game at all.
Rogers gets them both, giving him 6 points in the game. But you need a kid like this to show your leadership on. He was the Kentucky Gatorade Player of the Year this year.
Right, that's what we said, in our promo before the game that, they picked us again right there. But, he has to be able to play and to be their Mr. Basketball. Well, we're struggling.
Another turnover by Indiana. They are completely out of sync now, due in part to a stepped-up defensive effort by the Kentucky All-Stars.
They've scored their last 2 possessions here. If they get another one right here, they've climbed right back in the ball game.
Well, they already have, as a matter of fact. They're only down by 7 after they're trailing by 16 points. Here's the 3. That would have really tightened things up.
Probably not a very good shot because they've gotten the ball inside the last 2 possessions.
Bishop takes it right up the middle. Tim Bishop, only his second field goal tonight. Give Tim 4 points, make it with 10:42 to go. A 59-50 ball game in favor of Indiana.
Well, they came right down 2 possessions in a row, made 1 pass and fired it up. And that wasn't the way they'd clawed back.
Richardson with the foul on a good heading quick stop by Latrell Whitehead, the youngster from New Albany High School. What's this? Look at this. Boom. Nothing in the world Richardson can do. He wasn't paying attention, to be honest. That's the 4th Kentucky foul. 6 on Indiana. Richardson looks down and says, what is that down there? Richardson stands 6'8". Whitehead's 5'7".
I don't think Buckner hadn't scored this half.
Buckner has not scored this half. Indeed, he has not. Out of bounds to Indiana. He has not scored. They did not get any points out of Scott Padgett, Jim, who started at one of the starting positions. He didn't score in the first half, still hasn't scored in this ball game. And Elton Scott has not scored.
I know the Kentucky people think a lot. He's going to University of Kentucky. There's a nice move by Shane Miller. It's a good, nice jump or a pump fake. Got him in the air and had enough strength to get the 3-point or the 3-point attempt.
Look at this again.
Nice pump fake right there.
Mills with the foul. Miller gets the field goal. 7 points. They had an exhibition game down in Bloomfield. The Indiana All-Stars and Gary Donna put together the Hoosier Basketball Stars. And they had a great crowd down there at Bloomfield, home of the Cardinals.
That's right. And he had a great career there, boy. That's really a basketball community down there. They love their basketball.
That's our many schools. Little bitty kid. I'm talking little bitty kid. I went to Bloomfield grade school. I'm surprised there's not a monument of some sort down there. But
that thing's long gone. You can bet that.
You got that right. You got that right. I kind of wish you hadn't said it, but you got it right.
State marker out of that, though.
And
you keep it up. You and the Pacers keep doing it. If we win that thing next year, they might.
They might invite me down to Bloomfield. You never know. Here's a great defensive play turned in by Whitehead, and an immediate foul turned in by Marty Thomas.
Coach Miller's really. I've been there, boy. That poor guy over there, he's as frustrated as could be. They're, he realized they have a chance to win. Yeah. They just keep doing silly things. They're going to get a timeout here to get this thing straightened out.
All right, we'll take timeout ourselves. 9 minutes, 40 seconds of playing time in the ball game. Indiana's up by 12 points, 62-50.
The Hoosier Lottery is working for Indiana. It's funding job creation programs and retraining thousands of Hoosiers, keeping our companies competitive and more people employed. And every time you buy a lottery ticket, you help.
Thanks.
Because folks like you buy Hoosier Lottery tickets, we're able to help fund education in schools across the state.
Class.
There is nothing that we can do that is more important than encourage our young people, encourage them to excel, and recognize them for their accomplishments. And that's why Ameritech sponsors programs like the Hoosier Academic Super Bowl, a competition involving more than 6,000 students each year. And that's why we're taking the time today to honor this year's Mr. Basketball, Bryce Drew, and Miss Basketball, Tiffany Gooden. Earlier this week, we recognized all of the All-Stars, and we awarded $7,500 to their high school libraries in their honor. That makes over $50,000 in library grants since we began our All-Star recognition program. And today, it's my pleasure to present a #1 jersey to you, Bryce.
Thank you.
And to you, Tiffany.
Thank you.
To take back and put on display at your high schools. We know your classmates and communities are proud of you, and all of us at Ameritech salute you and wish you the best.
Indianapolis Star pleased to welcome the Lions of Indiana as a cooperating sponsor of the All-Star Games. Lions clubs throughout Indiana sold several hundred tickets for tonight's doubleheader. Over the last 4 minutes, the reason Kentucky's not made up any ground, they're 1 for 9, despite playing some pretty good defense. There, the first basket of the second half for Greg Buckner after he had 11 points in the first half.
That's where they're going to have to get it done. It's defensive pressure, and you know, they got one right there. Nice steal, nice skill. You know, Butler people or Indiana people are going to enjoy watching this Rogers kid.
They really are.
Butler's really getting two, as we said earlier in the game, two nice players, Newhouser and Rogers.
Another steal taken right out of the hands of Sean Doherty by Lewis Richardson. Here's Richardson. He lost it to the other end. Should have given it up, found a guard. Now we go the other way. Here's the layup off the mark. Rebounded by Buckner.
They got a breakaway. There's a kid. Didn't get back, and he's going to be a hero right here at the other end.
Mills. First basket by Mills, and now Indiana finds itself looking at a scoreboard that's a whole lot closer than it was early on. It's 62-54. It's cut that 16-point lead right smack in the middle. Backdoor cut, pull up Ladrell Whitehead. Nothing doing. Got his own board in amongst the tall timber, dished it off, and into the hands of Tim Bishop for his 6th point of the game.
That's a nice effort by the two smallest players on the floor right now. Whitehead and Bishop combined there and went inside on the big boys and got one.
8.5 minutes to go. Buckner banks it and got it. The Indiana Stars were talking about how Buckner takes a lot of those little 8 to 10 foot shots and banks them all. He's been very impressive. There's your score and the time. Indiana getting set for 3 subs. Kentucky will reintroduce 2 players to the lineup for the next dead ball. Doherty outside. Sean Doherty out of Vincennes Lincoln getting his first 2 points of the ball game.
He's going to Wisconsin, Jerry, and has a chance to be a really nice player there. He's got a really nice outside touch.
He's got a good goal. He's a pre-med major, wants to become a doctor.
Right, played for an outstanding high school coach at Vincennes.
That being Gene Miller. And a reach-in foul. The other end, it's on Buckner. That's the first of the ball game on Buckner.
Well, my son was wondering if we were going to give any Slick Leonard boom babies here or anything. We got to fire up this crowd here.
Which son was that, Richie or?
Richie's he's busy marching right now. He's still he's still at school.
Richie's at the, what'd you tell me? The
Air Force
Academy.
This is Scotty, who's going to be in the 8th grade next year. He was glued to every one of your telecasts.
All right, let's do this.
That.
The next 3 that goes up and we make it,
boom baby.
You boom baby. All right, I'll talk to Slick and tell him that
we got stolen.
We
don't have to pay any rights on that or anything.
Well, we're not going to.
Okay.
We just borrow it for a second. 7.5 minutes to go on this game. Indiana's out in front, but it's not as comfortable as it was, and it's going to get closer here. Foul is on Newhouser. That's 2 on him.
Kentucky kids, they just realize that when they've had success taking the ball to the basket, like right here, knifing, and they have good athletic talent and good quickness, and they just take it at Indiana kids. I think they have a chance to have a lot of success.
They've cut the lead to 8 again. 7.5 minutes to go on this ball game. Marty Thomas out of Ashland Blazer High School in Catlettsburg, Kentucky. Wayne Breeden's ball club 26-8 this year. He misses the free throw. And the ball comes off to Kentucky, and another foul in Indiana.
There's the ball inside again off of an offensive rebound. We didn't get a good, or Indiana kids did not get a good block out.
Foul is on Brian Hanley. That's number 2 on him. There is Eric Martin from Louisville Fairdale High School. Lloyd Garner took this ball club to 34-3 state champions. And I mentioned Lloyd's name because back in the old ABA days, when the Kentucky Colonels were in existence, Lloyd Garner was the trainer for the Kentucky Colonels. And I've seen him a couple of times since then. Now he's got a state championship ring. Our congrats to him. He got some good training under some of those Kentucky players and coaches. Eric Martin.
6-point game here, Jimmy. It's the closest Kentucky's been, I believe, since early in or about the midway part of the first half.
It has been a long time. They were up by, they being Indiana, by 16.
Get a little better movement right here.
Shane Miller off the mark, and the rebound comes long to Marty Thomas. Indiana doesn't stop them here. Mr. Woody may want to talk to some people. Well, Kentucky helps him out by throwing it away. (66-60) Indiana. 6:52 to play in this game. Some changes now as Latrell Whitehead heads out. Don Mallory is coming back on the floor. They're like bookend guards out there. Very similar in appearance. Boy, do they play hard. This is Mallory. Off it comes down to Bryce Drew.
Well, same thing happened last week when Indiana had to have a big bucket. Actually fell behind with about a minute to ball game. Bryce Drew hit a gigantic three, and he just seems to have that capability of stepping up when a team needs it.
That was his first three tonight. Bryce now with 11 points on the night. Here's the outside shot, rims out of there into the hands of John Newhouser. Well, they got Drew wide open on the top of your screen there. Instead, they go inside to Newhouser.
Just got him late.
What a good look inside. It would not fall for Drew, but a nice look by Newhouser. 4-on-2 at the other end. Here's the shot off the mark and a foul in Indiana.
Yeah, when Kentucky takes it at Indiana, they've had success. You know, last two times down, they fired a three, and it led to Indiana breaks.
Foul is called on Indiana's number 7, John Newhouser. That's his fourth.
That's Newhouser, number 7 on your screen, and he gets hit with the foul.
And he went up and tried to get out of the
way.
So Tim Myrick goes to the line now with a couple of shots for the Kentucky Stars from Mason County High School in Maysville, Kentucky. Fred Hester had a sensational year with that ball club this year, 30-4. Headed toward Belleville, Illinois Junior College. Second-team All-State player is Tim Myrick, 6'1", 178. They will take Newhouser out with that being his fourth personal foul. And they have reinserted Lee Nalen in that lineup for the Indiana Stars.
And Lee's played very well for Indiana.
Another foul on Indiana.
Foul is on Lee Nalen.
It is on Nalen. That's the first of the game on. I'll make it 2 on Lee Nalen now. It's amazing how Indiana is just lingering around and letting Kentucky stay in this ball game.
Yeah, as we said, it's scary really, because we're really at that point where 6 minutes, just over 6 minutes to go, where one run can beat you.
Yep.
I think Indiana is a better team, and you hate to put yourself in that situation at home.
Kentucky, to their credit, and you pointed it out last Saturday, when they were down by 16, never gave up the ghost, came back to lead the game toward the end.
Actually took the lead. Took a big three by Bryce Drew to put Indiana back on top.
Well, you know, Larry Miller isn't going to let them quit. Not that they would have anyway, but they're going to stay right in here. And had they been able to put any kind of a run together, I'll guarantee you they would be closer or ahead right now. There's a forced shot. Rebound picked up by Indiana. Nalen shot it, and Martin blocked it. Here come the Kentucky Stars, down now by only 6 points. There's the shot off the mark. The rebound in the hands of Thomas for at least a moment. Kicked away, chased down long range, and into the hands of Eric Martin again. Myrick pulls up for 3 off the mark. Rebound of the littlest guy out there. On Mallory. Out of Ben Davis High School at 5'5". 168 pounds. Miller. Kentucky boards. Buckner's got it.
The numbers. Oh, he traveled.
He sure did. They missed it. Here's the rebound, put back up and good by Kentucky's Tim Myrick.
Kentucky's really playing hard. These 5 kids right now are really getting after it.
Now the crowd,
4-point game.
Crowd's starting to realize, hey, they got real comfortable here. They better pump some oxygen in this arena if they intend to get this crowd enthused right now. Kentucky fans watching on our network has got to be loving this. Mallory. Eye to eye with Tim Myrie.
Yeah, he's really trying to take it inside this possession. Coach Whitty has really been on him about getting the ball inside with shot clocks down to 5.
Here's Bryce Drew. Offensive foul on Drew. Wipe the basket off. Third foul on Drew.
Yeah, I think you have to see that one on replay because
here it comes.
That's close.
That is close. Just checking the rebounding over here, Jim. Buckner had 7 and Martin has 9 boards in this ball game.
All right, this group right here has really played hard. Indiana back to a matchup here to try to throw something different at them.
Kentucky is on a 13-7 run. And that run could have been a lot bigger, or there might not have been a run had Indiana stepped up during that long lull in action. About halfway through this second half. Penetration inside, Myrie. Off the mark, got it, put it back up, still off the mark.
They're playing hard.
Martin. Eric Martin has had 9-point second half, and it's 69-67 in favor of the Indiana All-Stars.
It's going to be a battle.
Timeout.
Right, we've let them back in.
Hey, don't wander off. 4 minutes to play in this game, and a 16-point lead is down to 2. Now this from your local station.
Zenith presents AVI, advancing color television to a new level with Zenith's highest contrast and sharpest resolution ever, controlling your VCR, video games, and cable boxes. With Zenith's high-performance audio systems, AVI is Zenith's most advanced feature ever. AVI, tomorrow's technology today. Watch us.
Lane TV Sales, 7027 Pendleton Pike, Indianapolis. Williams Brothers TV Sales, 2670 East Main Street, Plainfield.
National Car Sales is making a big splash in your summertime fun with the grand opening of the all-new National Boat Mart. If you're thinking about going fishing, jet skiing, or just cruising around, National Boat Mart has all the top names and runabouts, pontoons, fishing boats, personal watercraft, and ATVs. Make a big splash at National Boat Mart out for the new big old green sign at 7111 West Washington Street.
Good luck, Indiana All-Stars from National Boat Mart.
Hi, I'm Bob Knight for Federated Insurance. You know, every basketball player is different, and I try to look for the winning difference in players, and that's what you have to do with your insurance company. Look for the winning difference. With insurance, a key is value. It means getting the most for your money. Federated has a lot of unique qualities, such as the right report, which will help you get the absolute best protection for your business and its unique needs.
Well, here's the score, 69-67. The last time Kentucky was this close, it was 5-2 with 17:50 to go in the first half. 7 run of the last 6:14. Terry Moore keeping our stats, doing a dynamite job tonight, gives us that information.
That came back to the play that they had a lot of success with last week and didn't get anything out of it. Again, Kentucky has worked very hard in their man-to-man defense.
Scott Combs, of course, went up and scored.
Big basket by Scott.
6'7", 205. High School was 3 for 4 last week. He scored 12 points.
Indiana's back in man-to-man.
And Combs has 12 tonight. 3 minutes, 22 seconds of playing time. Lobbed inside. Martin back out long range. Thomas, right side. Peterson, no. Great position, rebound, Lee Naylor. Now we're heading toward the 3-minute mark. Kentucky's done a marvelous job of getting back into this ball game after trailing by 16. They've never led, and there have been no ties. Drew had it poked right down his throat defensively. It's 2-on-1 at the other end, and there's Buckner.
Well, Bryce did something there that's very unusual. He forced one right there, and he's not that kind of player. He's not a one-on-one type player, and that's something he's not going to do very often.
Low-scoring game at 71-69. In contrast to last Saturday's 91-87 Indiana win.
Oh, he missed Nayland inside right there for an easy one.
Nayland posted down low wearing number 4. Now the bottom of your screen is 5, Sean Doherty. He's had some success in this ball game. Not a lot of points, but he has been a good factor as far as continuity is concerned. Knocked away inside, back into the hands of Scott Combs. So Indiana got lucky on that situation. They actually had thrown it away and managed to find it. 2 minutes and, well, make it 2 minutes exactly to play in this game. And a 4-point lead for Indiana, 73-69. Very important possession for the Kentucky squad. Oh, what a move to the baseline by Myrick.
Better strength. Taking the ball to Waskins. Better strength.
Half a dozen points now for Tim Myrick. Indiana now with an important possession. They lead by 2 at 73-71 with 1:35 to play. Bryce Drew. Isolation against Moselle Peterson. Now he gets help down to the baseline from Scott Combs. Inside, whistle, foul. It's on Kentucky. You saw Combs climb off the deck.
Got to be shooting one in bonus right here. Indiana's in the bonus. I believe we're playing college rules, right? So Kentucky's shooting a 2-shot foul the rest of the way.
That's right. 10 team fouls for Indiana, 8 for Kentucky.
Scott's gotten Indiana's last 4 points here. Tack on 2 free throws. He's come off the bench, twice in this game to really provide a spark.
Combs has not been to the line tonight. We'll see how he reacts from up there. Scott Combs, he was quite a trackster also, holds the school high jump record and plays on the school's #1 doubles team in tennis. Headed for the University of Missouri, holds the school's career scoring and rebounding marks, but he missed that free throw. And he missed them both. And it's knocked out of bounds to Kentucky. Scott Combs with 14 now.
Kentucky has a chance to climb even here.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if they ever led.
They have never led. It's never been tied. 1:20 to play in this ball game. What seemed to be a walk in the park for the Indiana Stars has turned into a walk in Central Park right now in New York. Because they have a chance, does Kentucky, to tie this game, and they just did. Tim Myrick with 8.6 in the second half. It is tied for the first time tonight at 73, and that came with about 1:05 to play. Now let's see what happens. Timeout taken by Indiana. They were really in trouble. Don Mallory couldn't find anywhere to go. There's your score. There's the time. The Indiana-Kentucky All-Star game from Market Square Arena.
All over Indiana, teenage drivers are making a promise they can live by.
I promise to drive safely.
I promise to not drink and drive. I promise to drive defensively, especially at night.
I promise to buckle up.
Keep your promise, and Farm Bureau Insurance promises to give you a $1,000 savings bond if you drive with us for 3 consecutive years without a traffic violation or an accident. See your Farm Bureau Insurance agent for details.
The big O hands off to AJ with 10 seconds to go. AJ weaves past Bird. Fakes the offer. He drives to the basket. He was fouled! 2 seconds on the clock. AJ's cool. He shoots. And the All-Stars win! Yeah!
Indiana boys and girls dream of being All-Stars. We're proud to make it possible.
No autographs, no autographs.
Tonight's game has been brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance and the more than 600 Farm Bureau Insurance agents throughout the state. By the Hoosier Lottery. When you play, Indiana wins. And by the Indianapolis Marriott. What makes us special is no big thing. It's a whole lot of little things. Managed by Indiana's legendary Durbin family.
At halftime, Indiana had a 12-point lead, 43-31. The lead has been as high as 16 points in the first half. But now it is a 73-all ball game with 52 and 7/10 seconds remaining. There's the game reset, fouls to give, timeout, possession arrow belongs to Kentucky. Boy, I'll tell you what, Jim Hamill, this Kentucky squad has come back and they have never given up the ghost.
They really have. They've really battled and, they've got the tough buckets. Boy, Indiana's fighting for their lives right now. We need a score right here. Nice back door. Oh, he had it set up. Nice back door. Just got an unfortunate break.
Newhouser and Combs trying to combine. It didn't work, and now Kentucky's got it.
Indiana has to do something here to stop penetration.
Now, what's interesting, if Kentucky so desires, Jim, they could play for the final shot because the shot clock and the game clock, and we're going to get a timeout. The shot clock shows 24.4 seconds. The game clock, well, turn around, 25. Final seconds coming up. Stay with us. There's your score, tied at 73.
World leaders met again today to discuss the possibility of further sanctions.
Each day, our world changes, and most of us can see it happen.
The Marion County Prosecutor's Office held a press conference.
Some of us have to hear it happen.
Verdict of guilty. Defense attorneys
3 times a day, volunteers from Central Indiana Radio Reading broadcast the Indianapolis Star and News to hundreds of people who can't read the paper themselves.
And Calvin says, Hobbs, maybe the world isn't ready for too much fantasy. And then Hobbs replies, does that include talking tigers?
Everything from national news
Hurricane Lisa is expected to hit the
to the cost of fresh strawberries at the local market.
Eastern Standard Time
The
Wednesday.
Star is proud to help fund radio reading with proceeds from the Indiana All-Star Games, which are used to buy receivers like this one.
And turning to the Star sports section,
It may not look like much to you, but to Tom Hasbrook,
tire tests at Speedway.
it's beautiful.
Well, the All-Stars were guests at a Westin Hotel luncheon this week given by Ameritech, which presented checks for $300 to each All-Stars high school library. Several high school principals and administrators attended. 1954 Mr. Basketball, my pal Bobby Plump was the speaker for that day. Well, here we go.
Oh, as I said before, Jerry, we got to do something to keep them from penetrating off the dribble right here. We're going to go man-to-man, and we're just going to have to get off, force them to take an outside shot.
Well, they've had terrific success inside of the second half. Just enjoy this. They don't have to shoot because the shot clock and the game clock are almost identical.
They're trying to throw the ball up near to Buckner. Trying to post him up. He's got Whitehead on him right here. That's a tough matchup inside.
He got the shot and got the bucket. Greg Buckner, big basket, 19 points. Indiana comes down, puts it up, it's off the mark, tipped up, no good, and that's your ball game.
Only time they led, the whole ball game, right there.
Their first lead, the first lead change of the game. And the Kentucky Stars win it 75 to 73. Jim, you and I kept saying it and saying it and saying it. Indiana, you've seen this in your years of coaching. You don't want to let a team hang around when you got them down by 16 points. They could not put Kentucky away. And to their credit, once Larry Miller found the weak spot inside, man, he exploited it the rest of the way.
Yeah, they really did. You got to give their kids a lot of credit. You know, they were a definite underdog coming in here. They lost at home, had to come to Indiana. It's been, I don't know how many years since they've won here. It's been several years, I believe, since they've won at Indiana. I believe 1991, I guess, they beat Indiana by 2 points here.
There was the buck. Indiana does not get a really good look here. They had an opportunity. In fact, they won the game because it was a 3. Yeah, right. It was.
That's right. Well, they went to their bread and butter. Buckner, player in this series. You know, without their number 1 player, he wasn't